Thank you for joining me today on Coffee With. My guest is Bill Serratt, the Executive Director of the Vicksburg Convention and Visitors Bureau,
yes.
Fondly referred to as VCVB.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to have to quit talking now.
It's a mouthful.
You go. Okay.
No, you have to ask me a question.
Okay.
You ask a question, then I answer.
Okay, that's how this is going to go.
Yeah, it's like an interview.
But you're such a talkative kind of guy.
You know, the water has come and gone. There was a great deal of media focus nationally and internationally on Vicksburg, Mississippi with the rising water. And then the day it began to fall, the media went away, which in many ways I'm grateful for. But just having your name out there in some ways is good.
Yeah.
The high water did greatly impact the economy, the tourism economy. The Smith
Positively or negatively?
Well, the numbers are down. We were pacing up for the year before late April and the month of May. Our numbers are in from the hotel occupancy for May, and year to date over 2010 we were down about 11%.
Really?
And we won't get our hospitality proceeds data until next month that really reflects May. But I know the casinos were, the overall market for casinos in Vicksburg was down 26-27%. So I think we'll see 25 to 40% drop in our collections check that we will receive in July, which will reflect May collections.
Wow.
We were pacing. We were above last year's collections before late April and early May. I think we've got time to make it up in the calendar year.
Do you think that's because of the water?
People thought from viewing the national media, we had lots of groups from distances away cancel because in looking at the national news media coverage, it looked as if everything south of Cairo, Illinois, was 20 feet underwater. And we had phone calls, we answered phone calls every day with people asking, is I-20 bridge still open? Is the bridge still open? And, you know, we're respectful to everyone. We're the hospitality people, and what we do is navigate information. But there were days when we're sitting there going, what? You know, you want to say if I-20 bridge closes, then it's flooded all the way to, to West Texas.
Right.
But the media kind of gave the impression that this part of the country was non-functional.
Underwater.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it really was.
And even in showing the Levee Street Depot with 5 or 6 feet of water, you know, the photograph was still taken from up near where we're seated now, but if you're looking at it in New Hampshire, you don't know that they're standing on a street where 18-wheelers are going by and it's business as usual.
Right.
So now it's your turn to ask me a question.
Okay, I can do that. I know you do a lot of work to bring tourism to this area. So what does that consist of? Do you go out and go to trade shows? Are you doing advertising? How do you drive that tourism business to this area?
Well, it's both the things that you mentioned, both going to trade shows. For the group travel business, the motor coach business specifically, we do a number of trade shows. They're usually in the first quarter of the year. We go to Travel South Showcase, the American Bus Association, Marketplace, South Central Motor Coach, Tennessee Motor Coach, Alabama Motor Coach, and we sell the itineraries and the new products of Vicksburg there. We spend about $500,000 annually on marketing and advertising. We run 4-color image ads in regional publications in Arkansas and Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, Tennessee, Louisiana. Our greatest market, especially in this gas economy that we're in now, is the tank of gas. So we're, you know, a 3 to 4 hour drive is where the primary amount of our business comes from. So we've been we didn't stick our heads in the sand, we did more advertising. We've got more advertising out there now than we've had out there in a long, long time, stating that we're open for business and come on over and have some fun.
Because I know y'all do some pretty big, I mean, I've seen ads for Vicksburg and Southern Living and some other, you know, big magazines.
We buy top quality, family-oriented magazines but we buy regional insertions. You know, when you see an ad for us in USA Today, we didn't buy the national run coast to coast. We bought a geographic area.
Oh, okay.
So we do a lot of regional insertions in national magazines as well. And our television has been running this year in Dallas, Fort Worth, Little Rock, Memphis, Nashville, Birmingham, Jackson, Monroe, El Dorado, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, that big circle around us. So
Now, Bill, how long have you been the executive director?
4 years and 2 months.
And what, did you come to Vicksburg for that job, or were you doing something else here?
I was, no, I came to Vicksburg to take this job. I was an executive director at another bureau.
And where were you?
Up in the Delta in Greenville, Mississippi, before we came here.
Are you from Mississippi originally?
No, but I got real lucky and I married a woman from Mississippi.
Oh, okay. Good. So you're married, you have a family?
We have a daughter who goes to school in a little town called Oxford, Mississippi.
Is that where LSU is?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Or UM or
something like that.
But we have a daughter there who will be spending the rest of the summer in Germany and then come back to do her fall semester, then back to Germany for another semester. So Sue and I both have lived somewhere along the river most of our lives. We're both river kids and absolutely love the Mississippi Delta and the Mississippi River. We have fallen in love with this little river town. We bought a house a few blocks from here, and we have just absolutely fallen in love with Vicksburg, Mississippi.
It's a great place to live, isn't it?
It is a great place to live. It is a great, it's just small enough, it's close enough to Jackson, it's close enough to New Orleans and Memphis for bigger stuff if you need it, but it is ideal.
All the conveniences.
Everything that you need.
Community, it's a great place to live.
Friendships and church, everything has just worked out great here.
So how did you get interested in the tourism industry as a career?
I was in the advertising agency business for a long, long time and handled several tourism-related accounts and some CVBs along the way, and just the way it worked out through the years, someone asked me if I wanted to move to the other side of the table, and I said sure. And I really didn't intend to do it long, but that was, Elizabeth was about 5, so that's been 15 years ago, and I just had a wonderful time doing tourism marketing.
Now, when you and your wife travel, where do y'all go?
Well, like in August, we're going to run to Orange Beach because we both need a little time down there. We take a lot of what a lot of people would consider just off the beaten path road. If we're going to Dallas, we're probably not going to go on I-20.
Yeah.
It's probably going to take us a day and a half to drive the 6 hours to get there. We have both traveled a great deal, both domestically and internationally, and we just kind of like to get in my truck and take off and see where we end up.
You know, I've heard a lot of people talking about doing that lately, and it really is kind of fun.
Yeah, we a lot of times just go with no agenda.
Yeah, you end up seeing a lot of interesting things that you would have missed had you planned where you were going to stop and what you were going to do.
Now, one road trip that's coming up next June, a year from now, is I have never been to Mount Rushmore, and that's real high on my list.
Yeah.
A couple of times we've been scheduled to go, but something came up, so we couldn't go. But no matter what happens, next June, I'm getting in my truck, and I'm driving to Mount Rushmore, and anyone who lives at our house who wants to go with me is welcome to get in the truck and go. But next June,
that's where you're going to be.
That is Daddy's holiday. I'm going to Mount Rushmore. So.
Well, what do y'all do for fun? Because you don't work all the time, or you better not.
No, we don't work all the time. Sue loves to entertain. We take evening drives. You sound like we live in Mayberry, but...
Now, you see, when I was growing up, my mom and I always did that on Sunday evenings. We always went and drove around town. Lots of people were building houses, and we kind of drove around and saw what the status was. And even now, I still enjoy doing that.
I like taking a ride in the evenings.
Yeah, kind of that. It's not really it's not even almost dark, but you're starting to think about the day winding down, and it's just very relaxing to me.
And, you know, we live in an old house, so there's always some project going on around there. Sue loves to cook.
Yeah.
So there's always some cooking going on over there. And we're both avid readers, so we just read all the time.
Great.
We sound like a really boring old couple.
Oh, it
I
sounds
guess
like a charmed life to me.
We have a good time.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to be sure and talk about?
No, I think that does it for me.
Come to Vicksburg.
Vicksburg is a great place to visit.
There's so much to do here.
We hear it all the time, you know, not only about Mississippi in general, but specifically about Vicksburg, where people have these Mississippi burning and motion picture images of Vicksburg, of Mississippi, that just aren't the way that we are. And in some ways, I don't know if we were ever really that far there, but people leave here with a totally different impression of what Mississippi is and what we are as Mississippians. And I hear it every day. We just loved being there. We were, you know, so delightfully surprised at what we found, and we have a totally different impression of Mississippi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that makes it all worth it. It's all true.
It is true.
And
it really is.
People are, once you get them here, you've got them. You know, we're talking about, you know, we're getting the people who live in the contiguous states and pretty much an easy drive time. We get a great deal of international traffic as well. And once you get them here, they're hooked. I mean, they're just so sold on the American South. And you don't get people, internationals, on their first trip to America. They've been to Disney World, and they've been to LA, and they've been to the Grand Canyon. So you're catching them on their fourth or fifth or whatever journey to America. But here they can really turn loose and drive. And, you know, it is so easy to drive in the South. If you look at exchange rates, which are very much in their favor with the euro now, and our cost of living is so much less expensive than other parts of the country. Gas, which we think it's sky high, they think it's an incredible bargain. It's easy to navigate America's Blues Highway, Highway 61, and all these roads around here. So once they get here, they're hooked on driving in the South. So tourism is going pretty good. We, like I said earlier, we are still up a little bit. I expect to lose that when the hospitality collections information comes in July, but I think we can make it up by the end of the year, so I feel good about the whole thing.
Well, Bill, thank you so much for coming and having coffee with me, and thank you for all your efforts to bring that tourism business here.
Thank you. We appreciate what you do.
Thank
you very much.
Promotional consideration provided by
Amber Sanders from Happy Hair. Get your hair happy at 3402 Wisconsin Avenue.